if we're going to talk more about game stuff, I'll just go ahead and get the mics rolling. While I fish out dice. Hi, audience. Welcome to the sound of dice out of my dice bag. Hopefully that comes across. I know because of the way we record that my microphone hears the dice, but I don't know if in editing it comes through clearly. I hope it does a little bit. I love the sound.
Can they hear my dice?
Are you shaking your dice right now?
Hang on, I'm gonna roll a bunch of dice. Did that get picked up?
A little bit. I don't know. What's your setup? Do you have push to talk or sound detection?
No, sound detection.
Okay, it might not be loud enough unless you're also speaking for it to pick up.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. Whatever.
Okay, so
I need percentiles and I need damage dice. That's what I need. This is a D10 system. Also, hold on, let me double check that. Marth is a little soft. Is that okay? I'll get it down. I can bump him up.
8d10.
I'll bump him up a little.
Okay, so
God bless you, Discord, for individual user volume.
Okay, so pretty much.
You remember those days of Skype? I don't want to.
Okay, so if I'm using orc, how would that actually decrease the price of the masterwork items? Because I see it's already if you're paying 50% of the cost of an item.
Yeah, now basically what you're doing is the only thing you need to worry about is labor, but because you're not paying for somebody to do it, you already have the materials, so you just need to worry about making it yourself. The problem is if he fucks this up, you lose the materials.
Yeah, I know.
And then you'd have to buy more.
Yeah, thankfully my companion is luck.
Yeah, that's right.
By the way, that was something I was wondering about. I was seeing these where the heck were they? Like examples for like magic items.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like the golden armor and whatnot?
Yeah. Like as the rules are right now, we have to use one of our
equipment items.
Our enhancement slots, I guess you should say, in order to enchant something and hold on to it. Does that like still pertain to things that like we might like find or loot from somebody else? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like probably not, because there are like for instance, you don't use any enchantment slots if you have a rune in something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is just kind of like it's a mechanical abstraction to be like you can't just keep enchanting items forever.
Yeah, I know that.
So
also, it's like, what would the actual harsh punishment be for using an enchantment on yourself if you fail at that? But it'd be like, I mean, you damage the item if you fail, but I guess you would deal additional wounds ignoring toughness on armor.
Yeah, you would probably deal damage to yourself. You might inflict deal critical damage to yourself in some cases.
And probably have some sort of magical mishap happen inside your body.
Yeah, basically, magic with complex systems is complex. I know that sounds kind of redundant, but it's true.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was thinking about that. Plus, I would say magic is not safe as volatile.
Yeah. So, like the reason why people build homunculi, which by the way takes a long fucking time. Like, I think the actual complexity is like you need to get the parts, and it's a huge deal, and it's very expensive.
Yeah, complexity for things on the human body is times 2.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, like trying to do anything permanent to yourself is really rough, and it's better to put it on items because they're not alive and they're not very complex. And if something goes terribly wrong, oh, you fucked up your pair of boots, not oh, I fucked up my feet forever.
Oh yeah, I also know that. I know that if I'm going to do any like really complex ritual stuff, definitely going to get some small animals and medium animals to kill.
Oh, you're gonna use their blood?
Yes.
Yep. Small sacrifices are A-okay. That's pretty basic ritual magic for, I don't want to blow myself up, but, I'll kill a chicken.
Well, humans is just like, yeah, that's taboo.
Yes.
You get the witch hunters after you.
Well, you can use your own blood.
Yes, self-sacrifice is also A-okay, but it's when you start going, oh, golly gee wilkers, Mr. Neighbor, could you spare me a cup of blood? That quickly jumps down to the slippery slope to, hey, I'm not going to ask you for your blood. I'm just going to take your fucking blood now. And then you're like,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah.
Heretics!
Okay, so
That's a
got
taboo.
my thing, so now I can
The
just-
taboos are not super heavily defined, but yeah, blood magic's one of them.
Now I can minus
Attempting to transfigure humans in general, like, theoretically, you could alter yourself or another person to be like, and I curse you to become a toad. That's against the taboo, because that's really complex and likely to fuck that person up forever. Okay.
Motherfucking ribbit.
Alright, got my dice, got all that up. Do I have all the documents? I know. I probably need a core book at some point, me. You might think to yourself, what, you can't remember the rules you wrote by heart? No, not really. Sometimes, but not all the time. That's why I wrote them down.
Well, that's just how you're supposed to guess.
Okay, we've been
Yeah,
rolling for about
okay,
5
so
minutes. I'll go
there's-
ahead and do the Patreon thing real quick and remind everybody that this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Jeremy Vasquez, Qua, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, and Ahago Comics. And if you like what we do and want to see us do more, you should consider supporting us on Patreon. We thank everybody for their support. I did a little bow there you can't see. Okay, let's just get into it.
Booyah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I have my notes.
It is me, Lucky. I am playing Wolfgang von Schmidt, a Baron of the Stahl Empire, Captain of...
A unit, don't worry, we're gonna get there.
Yeah, okay.
I did the reorg.
The reorg.
There's some bullet
Ulrich,
points.
introduce yourself.
I am Ulrich. What's my name? Your last name? Geisler.
Yeah.
Ulrich Geisler. Yeah.
My competent subordinate, who kills
I am-
many things for me.
I am gun shoot bayonet man.
I'm gun shoot bayonet man stabby earth guy.
Yes,
you
the
do do
one
a
who's
lot of
actually
stab.
learning all his magic. That's okay. Lucky took some officer talents, some of which you use all the time. You have used lightning skirmish a lot,
Oh, yeah.
mostly because
Oh,
Marth's
yeah, I
base
think
movement
I-
is crazy. So it's just like, here, have 2 more.
I think I forgot about lightning skirmish a few times.
Well, no, I had to use Lightning Skirmish last time because the way I had to charge up to fucking NVIDIA,
Yes.
and I needed that.
While we're on that subject, we've been busy little bees, both just talking about the game and even suggesting stuff and me making edits. So, the most
that's,
likely things that you're maybe going to hear about is, let's see, was it after last time? Yeah, I think it was, because you were talking about how you could, like, knock people out. So, we have the subdual rule. You can choose to limit damage and critical damage you deal in exchange for
Right,
the target just falls unconscious when they hit 0 wounds. They don't roll to die. Or not die, as it were. There's also a different grappling option for choking versus strangulation if you just want to put him in a sleeper hold.
Sleep.
Yeah. So and that's got a special rule, which is like the moment the target hits 0 wounds, you can, as a free action, let go of them, so you don't have to worry about doing any extra damage. and let him breathe.
nice.
You're probably maybe going to see some new weapon qualities or weapon tags I added. One of them is reliable, which is certain guns are less likely. They basically don't jam in a mechanically meaningful sense. And if you whiff the damage, you can reroll a little bit. There's also crippling, which you are likely to see a lot because I put it on lots of melee weapons and some explosives, and it's basically you do more special damage because we don't do enough special damage. Nobody has had their nose blown off or had like a bone broken or shattered.
I think the worst we get is some bruises and a little bit of bleed.
Yeah, a little bit of bleed.
Hey,
I did double check, by the way. I did research and was like, when was the blood bag invented? It was the 50s, so no.
Yeah,
God.
They can do blood transfusions, but they need live people to do it. They can't stick it in a convenient bag.
Yeah, well, that requires refrigeration technology and all that crazy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I still.
Well,
need
actually, it's
to
interesting. You
get
guys
one.
have pseudo refrigeration, because
Right.
magic. But yeah, mass-produced refrigeration is not a thing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Ice boxes, bitches!
Yeah.
I still actually need to inject my ammo with shatter rounds.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, Shadow's really brutal. Honestly, although I'm surprised you guys, other than the fact that Lucky is unfortunate, that I think Metal and Air are probably the least interesting, just because they affect your core stats. Metal gives you penetration, and you guys haven't really fought a lot of high, super armored enemies. I might fix that sometime, but
Yeah, then
and Air is just, hey, do you want to shoot forever? You would probably need to get into indirect fire rules for some of those far shot rounds. But, yeah, so crippling is whenever you deal special damage, you add plus 2d10. So your damage is a little more consistent and your highs are a little higher because the critical damage scale actually goes from like 0 to 100 or even beyond. Where like really bad stuff happens, where, you know, you can lose limbs and so on. There was a new quirk I added too, also maimed, which is like you have a permanent crippling injury to one of your limbs. You take a -20 to use that specific limb and a -10 on anything that requires both limbs. If it's one of your legs, your base movement is halved. Or you can start with a free prosthetic, because that comes with its own limitations. Because yes, I really did like Full Metal Alchemist, so you can have robot arms, but they're magic, so... They're literally magic.
Put a gun in one.
There's a focus in them, and they're powered by your magic, so they fuck with your spellcraft a little bit. On the other hand, no more bleed, and you get +4 armor in that limb, so... If you lose a limb, it's really hard to lose it again. So I think that's most of the mechanical stuff that the people are going to see. Other than there is a new subsystem, but we're going to cover that in a second. So the big old reorganization. Well, it's downtime now. We're going to skip about a month. So everybody got their 30 days back pay.
Oh yeah, I'm going to spend it all.
Yes. You don't need to worry about fatigue, post-mission fatigue at all because you have 30 days to rest.
Then all my wounds are healed.
Yes, that was the next thing, is natural healing. I know you guys were injured a little bit, but all of that should go away, because you could just rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys don't even need medical attention with this kind of time skip. You just, drink plenty of juice, eat plenty of red meat, and don't do anything strenuous, and you'll be fine.
Like I said, after this whole encounter, there was a lot of flurrying about.
Yeah. So, and also, you may see some. I added some more weapon mods. You may see some of those. I don't know if Lucky wants to get his longsword razor edged.
I think I do because when I use temper, the rule is anything that would damage it once, it has to damage it twice before it actually takes damage.
Right.
But then again, if I have temper on it, I'm pretty sure it's hurting someone.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
I also saw that. Yeah, BG Dub's hunting spear.
Yes, there's a couple of weapons in it. I'm trying to. I want weapon variety to be a thing, but because of the setting, it's mostly in melee options. So there's a couple different for people. So now you can get a hunting spear, a boar spear.
Also, bear trap is now called a man trap.
Yeah, I decided to just go ahead and make that explicit.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if I did that yet, but there's a thing I want to flip around. But there's some new stuff out there. I added a variant of manacles for mages called Thorn Manacles. People will get the reference, which is it makes it harder for them to spellcast while they're wearing them. So that's if you want to. I realized, there really isn't a good way to capture mages. Okay. So Thorn Manacles, you slap the manacles on them, they take like a -20 or -30 penalty to spellcraft. It's a decent chunk. It's enough to make you worried about fucking up. So yeah, once.
Yeah, so -30.
Yeah, it's a bad deal. Once you, because there's a certain amount of verbal and somatic components and concentration that is assumed with spellcraft. Like that's when you rush a spell for a -20, that's assumed to be you're cutting a lot of that mumbo jumbo out to just be like, yeah, I'm just going to wing it and not do the hand gestures and the words that I know because I want to do this faster and quicker. But also, by the way, I realized while I was reading over it, we'd done logistics score wrong before. It was, I think when we said we added up your charisma and int, and that's the average of totaled. Which means because Ulrich is not a people person, the logistics score is now 36.
Yep. I am not
God
friendly.
help you if you need mission equipment. But here, I'll go ahead. Do I want to post this with my NPC notes? After I talk about it, sure. So all right. So the company reorg. The major, who, by the way, just to point out how much of a big deal this is, the major's still only like 17. So, also there's not a lot of mages in this country. Like doing my research, there's only a few thousand soldiers in this region. Period. So, commanding a full-strength company of about 150 guys as she is now, the major's probably not getting promoted anymore for another couple of years and without being relocated. This will also probably affect your career, Wolfgang, about how far your promotional prospects are. I think we talked about this off mic, that it's entirely possible that High Command may have asked to pull you back to the home front to train people to do what you just did, but the Major was like, no, I need this is my officer, I need him here.
Thank you, Major.
Yeah. There's lots of fronts in this war you really don't want to get sent to. But so you're still the 9th, you're still adjunct to the 9th Eisenblut Schutztrupp Company. It's basically the Mage Colonial Company. Thinking about it, because I've talked about how small mage units are, there's probably like 1 or 2 more companies worth of mages. So, between 80-ish and 150-ish guys in the whole country. So you're a pretty big chunk of the mage division right now. The major's obviously still in command. Her lieutenant, her XO was not promoted, so technically, Wolfgang, you outrank her now. Good for you. She's still just an Oberleutnant. So you are captain of the. There's been basically a redivide and a split here. So the major's company is divided into 2 squadrons. One of them is air and one of them is ground mostly. Some of your honor guard guys were probably pulled out of your unit to become a smaller unit of honor guards for the majors who are just dedicated to that all around. But that was part of the reorg because she was not using you guys as honor guard all the time. So
nope.
And you have actually you're committed to being aerial troops now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have actually switched specializations for your unit. Everybody gets parachutes and gets bonuses to certain things. You're less likely to die from falling, and now your whole unit has a +10 to pilot parachute, and are all trained in pilot actually. That goes for your companions too, by the way. I added that as a note. All NPCs in your unit count as having the bonus. So your companions are now both trained in pilot and get the bonus to operate parachute.
Okay.
This is important.
I'm going to definitely note it down.
So you are the captain of the 1st Provisional Fliegenkorps, aka Flying Corps Squadron, aka the Skywolves, because you guys didn't come up with cute unit nicknames before, so I put one on you.
Oh, great.
And if you say that your unit patch is not a wolf's head gripping a sword, I will hit somebody.
Skyfang.
I'm okay with it.
I'll just call it Skyfang.
Who are these Skywolves?
Skywolves. All right, cool. Patches for everybody.
Yeah. So under your command, you have 3 platoons. So you've got the 8th Flying Rifles, who are your assault troops. This is mostly your reorganized last unit. Is in this platoon. You've had some new guys brought in to fill in the ranks because, like we said, some people got pulled out, some people got promoted. So these are your assault troops. Your flying infantry drop. They've actually done the drop training and stuff with you. They are commanded by Lieutenant Walther Behringer, because I randomly generated his NPC aptitudes. I think this is your sneaky guy, because he explicitly has the sneaky demeanor. So the brief outline of Walther Behringer is that he is a metal mage, like the captain. If you hear him tell it, he says that his family are renowned locksmiths, watchmakers, and jewelers back in the home country, and that's why he knows why he's good with his hands, according to him. Yeah. And you certainly assume that in his spare time he might have manned a forge because he's built like a blacksmith. Huge forearms, big shoulders.
Oh.
Still sneaky, though. You don't know how he does that. It's crazy. Except the captain. The captain's like, yes, I know who does that. That's the secret of being a huge dude in armor and being quiet. So yeah, that's your lieutenant of the Flying Rifles. Like I said, he's a metal mage. Probably got maybe a little bit of a shabby, like a short ponytail, got a little bit of a mustache. He's not maybe as finely disciplined and looking as you might like, but he's really good at his job.
All right, cool.
You have retained the 45th Jaeger Corps platoon, who is your recon and light infantry units.
Oh, nice.
So they are under your command now. Their commander is still Lieutenant Falkenroth. If he feels bad or like resentful that despite the fact that he was in the same operation, he didn't get any accolades and his unit didn't get a lot of appreciation compared to yours, he doesn't show it. But that might just be because he's an air mage, so he's pretty typical for them. He's got kind of a, you know, a freewheeling, non-confrontational kind of light personality, which makes him really good at recon. He's good at getting in and out of places. He doesn't take any risks. You know, he nice and mobile.
He's probably happy he didn't have to jump out of a fucking plane and
he's perfectly content to have his unit stand far away and shoot at people from a long way off. That is what their job description actually is. You know him as a local. He was his parents are part of the colonial administration. He was born here, grew up here. So he knows lots of local people and local places. He looks like he's got some scars. He's been in a couple, not like dueling scars. You think he's been in a couple knife scuffles as part of his recon work. You know, got a couple marks here and there. You also know that he is notably religious. He wears probably an 8-pointed star or something. You know, one of the obvious mage religious symbols. Frequently seen in, you know, your base chapel. If you have a chaplain or two, you know, he probably talks to them a lot. And now you have a new unit, a new platoon which is attached to you, almost entirely made of new recruits from the Fatherland or reinforcements. You have the 1st Auxiliary Recovery Platoon, who are a medic and recovery unit.
Nice.
So they are field medics, they are field mechanics, and just general support troops and logistics. They are led by Lieutenant Maria Bretz, sometimes called Frau Dr. Bretz. She was a late volunteer, so she's probably a little bit older than some of the other troops in her mid-20s because she delayed enlistment to complete medical school. So she's an actual doctor. She's your medical officer. She is a fire mage. I'm imagining, you know, red, gold, curly hair. In the anime or video game version of this, she's either got like those big, curly, rosy pigtails, or maybe Hime drills. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Got a little beauty mark on her face. You know that as a fire mage, she's, you know, passionate, friendly, you know, driven, but also got a little bit of a temper. You've probably seen her in the month as your squads have gotten adjusted, you know, keeping discipline in various places around the base by threatening people with objects at hand, a wrench, a bone saw, a ladle, whatever she's got handy. But you also know that similar to you, she is very honorable and takes her words and deeds very seriously.
Nice.
So yeah,
got a good crew.
What you're probably not happy about is your co-squadron, the ground unit, the 9th Stahl Alkebulan Dragoon Squad, aka Grimm's Brands, they've named themselves. Their emblem is a flaming skull with a war scythe. Hey, guess who their captain is? She also got a promotion.
Oh shit.
It's Hauptmann Grimhild Brandt, the squadron commander. She still has an eye patch. And is still a fire mage. You can decide, as we kind of run through this, how much you've been hanging out with her. She's you know, your co-captain, so you're of the same rank. Mm-hmm. You know, her office is right next to yours. Unless you've gone out of your way to relocate, her quarters are right next to yours. So
No. As long as she's amicable, I can't pronounce the fucking word. Amicable. I will be too.
Yeah. Like I said, she's a fire mage also, so she tends to be, on her good moments, she's friendly. And you know that not necessarily driven by honor, but she's definitely the no fear kind of soldier. You know, if you studied her military record over the first couple months of the war, she is definitely the person who will take a mission that is dumb and suicidal and, you know, say, "Sir, yes, sir," and rush into the breach. It's probably why she and Major Mustache got along so well. You know, safety is not a concern for her. Victory and courage are. So she's not really a bad person. She's just not real concerned about her own. Yeah, reckless, not concerned about her own safety. You know, she wants to go down in a history book sometime. It's probably why she's got the eye patch.
One of those thrill seekers.
Yeah, sounds like a thrill seeker.
Under her
Shit.
command, there's the old 65th Pioneer Platoon, your old ground engineer buddies, still led by Lieutenant Joachim Siekert, the Earth Mage. So you've probably talked with him a little bit as like a former colleague. He's he's a friendly type. He's also a little bit older. He's probably was like before he enlisted in the army because he's an engineer. He was probably a college professor or an academy teacher on some of this specialized stuff. So he's got kind of a professorial attitude. The two new units who've been brought in there's the 110th Cannoneer Platoon, which is the now Captain Brandt's old artillery platoon. So they are experts in working with friendly artillery. They're spotters. They're heavy hitters.
There's a lot under this in this command. Shit.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll copy the graph. It's just I wanted to introduce everybody because it's got my notes on like what the NPCs are like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's led by Lieutenant Thorsten Kohler, who, if you've had a chance to talk to him, doesn't seem so bad. He's actually a water mage. You know that water mages sometimes have a bit of a temper that turns around. So maybe in war he's more of a fighter, but normally when you speak with him, he's a very diplomatic and calming guy. He used to be the now captain's XO, so probably he was a calming influence on her, maybe. And now he's in charge of the unit. You also know though that he's known for a bit of his jewelry. He's got a few like necklaces and bobs on him. And then the platoon you are probably least happy to have around, the 8th Feuerlands Fire Lance Experimental Weapons Platoon.
Oh, this sounds bad already.
Who are they're a heavy weapons team. They're armed with light machine guns, flamethrowers. You haven't received any chemical weapons on this front because it's a little early for that, but if they were carrying them, they would have that. They've got demo men with them and stuff like that. Heavy-hitting stuff. They've probably repurposed some of the captured trench guns. And they are led by Lieutenant Antelm Ludwig, who is another fire mage. And he is also a bit of a risk taker. Because this is another chain of command, you probably haven't done anything about it yourself, but you know that he plays runs a few card games in the off hours in the officers' mess. He's a very slick gambler type, and he's got these he's always wearing black leather gloves.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and copy this down to you. So there's your org chart now. So you're in command of a unit, which is a good time to point out that I added a new rules to unit creation. So everybody, open up your advanced player's guide, and go ahead and tab down to unit quirks. So technically, you're supposed to, when generating a unit, kind of like think about your history, come up with fun nicknames, like I enforced on you and the other units. Because nobody was really engaging with that. But that was kind of a minor fluff thing, so I'm like, fuck it, more rules. So the unit quirks is now a system to kind of apply an overall quirk to your unit. You only ever get one, and most of these are positive, or they're a positive and a negative, so they kind of like counterbalance. There's no outright negative ones. If most of them stack with PC quirks, but if you have a quirk that's incompatible, your specific quirk as a PC takes precedent. I guess this also goes for your companions. So, like, if you're an individual who sticks out, you stick out. But this is just a way to kind of reflect what's your unit's experience, what's their training, what's their general composition and personality like. And since you're in command of the unit, Lucky, you should pick one.
Marth, how do you feel about Band of Brothers?
Immediately? Wow.
What?
I'm just saying that's the top one. You're gonna study?
Yeah. No, I've already read through them all.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah.
I will obviously if you've got an answer that's good now. I was going to say that there's some that don't make sense for you, like green doesn't work.
Yeah, no, like Chem Doctrine wouldn't work. Like Chivalric Order, it's like I'm like honorable, but no, classically trained. I was
about to say classically trained is also another one that stands out. That's not really you.
That's not really us. Commandos maybe, but I'm trying to move away from that. Like Deadeye, no. Destined, yeah, but I kind of feel that's a little too tongue in cheek. It was like maybe Die Hard, but stuff like Fearless, Flame Doctrine is a no.
Yeah, no. So think of like So let's see. What is the other Experience is a possible one I think for you.
Yeah.
Battle Hardened I could also see. and experienced is 1, because you guys actually are experienced. You actually have done formation training, so you could make that a rule. Formation trained.
So it'd be like Band of Brothers, battle hardened, experienced. Shoot, we could pick fearless.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of them.
Yeah, this is decent. I tried to hit a lot of areas. This was just my way to be like, okay, so how? Because you have a unit specialization, but it's like, but what's your unit really like? Like if you wanted to, you could throw in Blue Blood, for instance. You could go there, but I don't know if that works. You know, because we've talked about some stuff with your unit. I really, for comedy reasons, I really want you to pick Thieves and Whores, but I don't think you're gonna.
Okay, now just scroll down to Thieves and Whores.
Honestly, I was thinking about it because honestly, I think that'd be kind of funny, like this honorable award
about the ruffian vagabonds. They're ill-tempered participants. Trouble with authority being of course, Lucky's characters.
Yeah, no, I'd have to be yelling at them constantly, but
once per session, you automatically succeed in a procurement test for an item of uncommon rarity or lower because they've stolen it or just bought it already.
Yep. But no, actually, I was yeah, maybe we should just go with experienced. I was looking at Party Hard. I was like, that'd be great, but no.
Yeah. I would say experienced too.
You want to go with experienced?
Yeah.
We're vets.
Right, you're an experienced unit. The benefit for that for the audience is that every soldier gets to improve 1 skill they have trained to +10. So you guys do that now.
A free skill upgrade?
Yeah, basically.
Okay, cool.
And if you're in mass combat, your unit gains a +10 on all skill rolls, which, covers their general purpose of how skillful they are at stuff. So you're very technically experienced as a unit.
Well, then I'm gonna fucking...
Starting to mark that down. That's the unit quirk I'm part of.
Train to +10? Well, I'm gonna do pilot then. So now my pilot's at a +25. Booyah.
Solid choice.
And it has a simple upgrade. Boo fucking yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so let's say we have the Major, who's the company commander. Then there...
Yeah, so I've estimated you got about 75 guys under your command.
Damn.
Okay, so...
Yeah, 3 platoons worth.
+10 to...
Yeah, it has to be a skill you're trained in, basically. So take something at level 1 to level 2.
Okay, so I already have awareness at +10, so that's no. I have athletics, camouflage, evasion, intimidation, investigation, navigation, subterfuge, pilots, spellcraft disorder, and survival and tactics.
Okay, so the...
And pilots. So I'm going to pick, I'll pick camouflage.
Okay, so I got 3 platoons under me, so I have the Flying Rifles, the Jaeger Corps, and the Recovery Platoon. Then the Grimsbrands have the Pioneers, the Artillery, and the Experimentals. Okay, I got that.
Yeah. You're basically you're split into 2 squadrons now. There's 1 squadron for land stuff and 1 squadron for air stuff.
Booyah!
And much like how the captain would handle missions, because obviously this is, turn of the 20th century school leadership here. When you get a mission, you can decide how many platoons you want to attach to it, where you want to go, and you'll probably ride along with one of them because that's just how command works in this time period. So, all right, how long have we been going? It's about 30 minutes to set up. That's fine. So yeah, that's your downtime.
Well,
go ahead, Lucky.
Oh yeah, there was one other thing you added. The fucking the weapons.
Was that since we? That might have been since we recorded last. Okay. Yes, that's a good. Yeah. There's now a system to alter your weapons so that they have slightly different stats. Just your normal weapons, not your exotic weapons, because those are already weird. And they add a couple different tags. So one thing that only exists as a tag from certain patterns right now is overheat. Normally your weapons are assumed to have all the all the proper water and air cooling and safety features they need to not overheat. But if you're using like stripped safety features or a particularly like aggressively patterned weapon that maximizes rate of fire, you can get the overheat tag, which means every time you use a suppression attack or an auto fire attack, you risk the weapon overheating and damaging itself. You basically got a 50-50 shot.
Better start bringing those spare gun parts.
Hey, you got a platoon for that now.
Mm-hmm.
There, yeah. Basically, the way to think about it is I've tagged their specialty on there. So your flying rifles is your assault or raiders. You've got recon, and then you've got medic or recovery. So somebody gets shot down, they have a parachute malfunction and break their leg. You know, these guys will come pull you out. God forbid you had a vehicle that needed recovered. And in general, they're just support. You know, when you are on a long flight and you need a little pick me up. You know, the recovery platoon is the guys handing out the thermoses full of coffee. Just a word of warning, though: Lieutenant Bretz was in medical school, so she makes it strong.
Well, we will definitely have a cup then, because remember, I like coffee. Well, shoot, now if I'm gonna be a good guy, well, I guess my masterwork fucking everything is gonna be wolf themed.
Yes, it's up to you whether or not anybody howls as they engage in combat.
Actually, hang on, let me see here.
Let my character do that. He's isolated, probably has some sort of connection to nature more so because, yeah, you probably would.
Germanic. Let's see. Fenrir. Skull. I'm just checking for Germanic. Skywolves makes perfect sense because Wolfgang, Wolfgang basically means Path of the Wolf. I just looked this up. Great. Sure. Why the fuck not? Let's see. Skull. Okay, Skull chases the sun and Hati chases the moon. Okay, cool. I did not know that. I learned something today. But anyway, so in this quick moment while you have some downtime, I'm going to roll and spend all my fucking money on getting some sweet wolf-themed armor and weapons.
Yeah, I figured that was what was going to happen. So, well, first of all, what are you rolling for here?
I'm going to spend credits, military credits, and...
You wanna haggle a little bit on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright, so roll some commerce.
I'm going to roll some commerce.
And while you're doing that and figuring out some stuff, I will say that, so basically, when we cut back to the present, you guys have all pulled back to the colonial capital. You have a bigger barracks now, because you're a bigger unit.
Got a bigger office. It has furniture. What the fuck?
You have a multi-part office, because all your officers are in it. And in fact, you might actually have, like, a separate office away from the main office, which is your staff room. Because you have quite a few people. You have, like, a whole... You are not just an officer now. You have a whole set of officers under you.
That scares me. Oh, the weight of command.
Yeah. If you didn't have an individual room before, you have one now, and it's probably bigger, even if you did already. Since Ulrich is one of your senior NCOs, he's only down to probably, like, bunking with one guy.
Yeah. Let's see here. Alright, since I'm spending military credit, I'm going through my own guide, so... Social bonuses! That's plus 40. What is fucking...
Commerce? Int, I think.
Excuse me?
Are you trying to figure out what stat commerce is tied to?
Yeah, it's charisma. There it goes.
Oh, it is charisma.
Oh, yeah, and I bumped that up to 40. Booyah. So 80... 4 degrees of success.
Okay, so take the normal price and knock 40% off it.
Alright, so it's 375 total. Because I did that math. And calculator. 375 divided by 40%. Oh, it's 150. So 375 minus 150. Whoops. Oh, cannot divide by 0. Good job, me. Almost broke the internet. 220 cost me 225 for a wolf-themed masterwork set, heavy body armor, medium shield, and longsword.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so...
Let's see how much that leaves me with. Let's see. 367 minus 225 leaves me with 142 MC left.
Oh yeah. Does the familiar bonus count for the ritual?
Masterwork.
Yeah, so that gives you plus 10 to use, I think. And does it also give a damage and pen bonus on your weapon? Probably.
Check.
It's really well made. I'm pretty sure for armor that increases the armor at all hit locations by 1.
Yeah, Marth had a question about familiars and ritual magic.
Yeah. So what? Like, what kind of bonus do they give? Let's see. It's not elemental, so you don't get your elemental aura bonus, but I think their spellcasting assistance probably still counts because they're still helping you. Whatever that bonus actually is. Hold on.
+1 damage and +10 to all attacks. That's what it does.
It's real good. It was made good.
It was made good. Oh shit, yeah, and I gotta enchant my fucking my armor. And new shield. That's right.
Hello?
Yeah, gotcha. You are still a little soft.
Okay.
Though. There you go.
That's I was just checking because apparently I did something and my thing stopped working for a moment.
Oh, okay.
So does the familiar bonus count with rituals?
Yeah. Not the elemental aura bonus, but their normal bonus because they're helping with spellcraft.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll need that.
Alright, so masterwork. Long sword.
So hey, Wolfgang, you actually have budget. Still.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get
your exo doesn't have to suplex you through a desk because you spent all your back pay.
She'll do it too. I should give her grappling just so we can say like. We know who wears the pants. We know who wears the pants in this chain of command. Technically, I don't need a masterwork. Medium shield really doesn't do much, but I still want. I want to be on theme.
Well, if you ever have to hit anybody with it, you get the bonuses.
Yeah.
Somebody should get a masterwork armored cloak.
I mean, I have a fucking duster.
But yeah,
I don't know if I can wear it.
Well, there's rules for that. That's the whole thing. That's actually I double checked my armor and I'm like fiddling with stuff. So yeah, I upped the head armor a little bit in some locations. So you should make sure to note that down because I upgraded I upgraded the heavy armor, so I think your default in head is 6 now instead of 4, so you'd be at 7.
Oh, okay.
Because masterwork. Because helmets.
Armored cloak. I don't know. I forget. Does armor stack?
Not unless it says it does. So the cloak explicitly says that it can be worn over clothing and uniforms at no penalty, and it can be worn over armor with a slight penalty.
I don't know. More armor is more armor. Besides, then I can have a sweet cloak to go with. Now I gotta get a fucking armor cloak.
And I think it's like +3 or +2. Is it plus? I think it's +2 in every hit location but your head, because it's a heavy insulated cloak made of sturdy materials.
Because I wear the duster with my duster and peak cap when I'm in regular uniform, because I don't think my fucking duster is big enough to go over my fucking armor.
The cloak will, though.
Yeah, the cloak will, though. I'm totally getting me an armor cloak. It's gonna be wolfish.
Oh, also, it doubles as a rain poncho.
That is super important.
It's weatherproofed. Because I like armor that does the same stuff as other stuff.
Alright, so let's see here. Masterwork. So all this is actually going up by... That's... Wow, I have 12 armor in my fucking head.
Nice. You probably just thought about it. It's like, yeah, I don't want to get shot in the face.
No, I don't want to get... I got hurt enough in the first couple sessions. I am done. I am done with that. But no, because
look at my weapon list. And what's the pen on some of these things?
10, like 8. I think one's pen 10.
Most like things like I have is like pen 2 to 5.
Yeah, most the vest and the body armor is really meant to stop shrapnel and small arms fire. Only heavy body armor will actually like stop a rifle round. And shotguns are pretty naturally fairly ineffective at armor. The only stuff that's really serious is like anti-armor explosives. And actually, I upped the damage on the rocket. I upped the damage on the rocket gun and the anti-tank lance too. I forgot about that because I actually looked at my stats and I'm like, wait, hold on, how much armor does the tank actually have?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was looking. Yeah, no, I read through the whole ritual complexity rules and then wrote them down in my own words to see if I understood them. But it's pretty simple.
See, now I gotta look up that armor cloak real quick.
Okay,
It's in the armored section.
Okay, so I did.
I'd love for there to be more meaningful choices in armor, but at the same time, it's like we can only do so much.
Yeah. After a while, it's just like, oh, this is a reskin of a reskin of a reskin. Except it has +1 in this one area.
Oh, also armor has descriptions now.
Yeah.
By the way,
I noticed that. Suddenly kneecaps.
Hang on, I gotta check Ironclad here real quick. And see the proper right wording, because when I wear the cloak with other armor, it's supposed to reduce my base movement. But Ironclad, wearing armor does not reduce your base movement or give penalties to athletics. Yep, nope, I can
Yes, congratulations. I phrased that the exact same way as heavy body armor.
Yep. So, yeah. Oh, and treat your armor value 1. Oh, no, that's just... Oh, okay. No, that doesn't stack per armor. That's just in hot location. Okay. No, so it's not per armor.
It's overall your armor in each hit location is counted as 1 higher. So theoretically, you'd have a little bit of armor even if you're wearing a battle dress.
But my XO will probably get mad at me if I spend more of my money on this cloak when I just blew a bunch of it, so I'll wait on it for now.
It's only 15 MC, which is the equivalent of about $150.
Yeah, I know, but I'm gonna have to get it mastered because I want it to be on theme.
Then it would be +3, and actually you'd get armor in the. Technically, the way masterwork is worded, you get 1 in the head.
That means I probably get a sweet cloak. A sweet hood.
Yeah. Thick furs, treated leathers, or fiber mesh.
But no, I'll wait for that for next session. As I said, we're busy. We went to the Capitol. We did some parties. We did some elbow running. We did some research because we saw some scary shit. I had to write reports for days.
Then I'm just going to note down all the stuff I bought. Arson tools.
Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, buying shit is like one of my favorite parts of fucking games. Yeah!
Yep.
Let's see here. But
okay, so +10 for any practice ones. So, example. Wait, let's see here. I guess that would be. Well, these would be leather boots?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I guess that would be like leather making or something? Or whatever it's called.
Well, yeah, it's under craft.
It's not under craft. Okay. Cobbling, dude. You're cobbling.
Like, yeah, theoretically, if one of you was a craftsman, the starting origin, you could say, my craft is leatherworking, and you'd get a bonus at this, but this is just your... This is just that we've decided the Corpsman's good with his hands.
Yeah, my Corpsman has... I switched it over to Builder so I could get that craft thing. Now this Arson's tools are going to be for, I guess... cobbling.
Builder, let me double check. Doesn't he get artisan tools from one of those?
Yeah, I think, correctly it was,
it might be a starting table.
Going on. I don't know. Companion, I think I know what it was,
well, there's 2 instances. Okay, so journeyman adds.
Going over to companion calculator, I think it was oh yeah, Builder gave construction tools.
Okay, so construction tools, alright.
Which is 25 kg.
Yeah, it's a fucking construction kit.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I'm going to just have him leave that
okay, so
base.
No. So that's a companion template which gives artisan tools, not a whatchamacallit, an advance talent.
The time to so now I need to actually make sure I have that bonus in mind. Okay, so that's +10 to that thing, so...
So basically, if the audience is wondering,
34.
right now we're basically like, this is what did you do on your summer vacation? You've had 30 days of reorganization, time back in the capital, medal ceremonies, promotions, paperwork. What are you guys doing in your off time? Which mostly is buying things and making things.
Yep. I said I ordered I ordered some shit. Oh yeah, we got fucking special mobility units.
Yeah. That probably came with your recovery corps because they're also mechanicals.
Yep. Marth, you picked the multi-core one, right?
Multi.
For your custom mobility unit?
I think I chose the integrated focus, but I think I'm going to switch over to multi-core.
Like I said,
because I'm thinking is like maybe later down the line can get an integrated focus, and I don't want to be like, oh, I already have an integrated focus. Doesn't make much sense. Or maybe it should be like increased speed.
Well, I went with efficient because like I'm gonna tell you this now, with the custom mobility unit, and if you pick up mobility unit expert, you can fly at like 1,000 kilometers. It's fucking huge. No, wait, 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer.
Oh, right. Okay.
We are like literally like 3 times, like we literally have 3 times the ceiling of like the standard like air mage, not air mage, flying mage. It's nuts.
Well, I'm going to get the increased speed, so that's plus 25% because I'm a scout.
He's a fast boy.
Shit. Yeah, you are fast boy. All right, no, you do you. You want to fly fast? Gotta go fast.
Yeah, so custom mobility unit, there's a couple options you can pick. You can only have one customization at a time. And you can have defensive, which gives you bonuses to all active defense rolls. High speed, which Marth just picked, which is max speed plus 25%. Efficient, which is doubles the amount of time before it uses a charge, and flying in subunits get increased max height and depth by 25%. Improved focus gives you a focus bonus, which, as Marth also pointed out, someday you can just buy those probably. Improved focuses, foci.
Okay.
Multi-core would let you store up to 3 Ethereum cores at once and draw freely from all of them, so you can be more efficient about using them without needing to like hot swap. And you guys aren't using heavy flying or striker units, so you can't get a weapon mount.
Oh yeah, and I actually did go about getting like quirks for my companion.
Yeah, didn't you say you were going to give him steady hands?
I think it was Pacifist, Steady Hands, Alchemist, and Headstrong.
That sounds like a medic-y guy to me.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, why didn't I give him quirks in the first place? Then it's like, wait, wouldn't this stuff be like... So I tried to pick the stuff that was like, this stuff won't affect it too much of what I originally had.
Yeah, except you're probably, like, maybe not using him to double team so much. Oh, actually, that reminds me. That is actually a rule patch. Because you guys were charging and double teaming a lot. Yeah. So now it's not assumed that your companion moves with you when you charge. That's a special companion talent you have to buy, which lets them automatically move with you. And lets you do a different thing when you charge. So you could double team, but you could also do the actual charge action bonus.
Okay.
Yeah, I think other than maybe runes, Lucky, I think the only thing you could upgrade now with your sword is go to Dragon Bone or maybe Shark's Tooth.
Yeah, what does Aether Infused do again? I forget.
Aether Infused makes you better at casting while you've got it. So you get a plus 10 of spellcasting rolls of your elemental affinity, and when attacking, you roll twice for damage and take the better result. An infused weapon cannot be damaged by normal means; it can only be damaged by another infused weapon or magic. So basically, you get better at spellcasting of your elemental affinity when using it. You get a better chance at damage, and your weapon is less likely to be destroyed.
I know there's one of the, like, some of these things they are literally not compatible. I'm trying to remember what it was, though.
Runes, usually.
Runes and Aether Infused, was it?
Okay,
yeah.
So that is, I rolled in 1d10, I got a 9, so that's going to be 5 days.
We got that time, but yo.
Yep. You got 30 days, so you're fine. That just means that the medic spends a lot of his, quote-unquote, of his winter holiday fiddling in the workshop, because, by the way, you have a workshop.
And now And now I'm going to be wearing my gas mask all the time because sensory boosted.
Okay.
Magic.
Well, your captain likes to work.
Plus, I have intimidation.
Oh yeah. Let's be spooky, boys. Why the fuck not?
Your mage.
I mean,
your spooky.
Your fucking captain walks around in like wolf theme armor, and like give him like a couple weeks, and he'd be wearing a giant ass fucking clothes in the middle of goddamn Africa.
And then I have enchanted
my
body armor with harden, so I have +4 AV on every slot.
No, trust me, that's good. Oh man, runes are fucking expensive.
Yeah, you're gonna get a specialist for this shit. But on the other hand, it's another permanent enchantment that doesn't take a slot. Like if you put the fire on, you have flame and thunder on all the time.
Now time to indicate that I have used 2 of my 3 slots.
Yeah, most runes are pretty heavy duty.
Nature cannot be changed, cannot be enhanced or improved by other magical effects such as repairs. That's right.
And I need to spend some time also with, I guess, at some point upgrading my familiars.
Hey man, like I was mentioning it earlier. Like technically we know a place where like there's a fucking earth conflux.
Yes,
which is technically your territory now. That fortress is being refurbished.
So
we can go there. I mean,
probably not now though. We probably have to go do a couple missions and get a little bit of downtime. But yeah, that is definitely something we can.
Yeah, because you've had a lot of downtime. If we're ready to move on to the tactical situation, we can do some briefing.
Let's do some briefing.
The only thing I was going to mention really quick was just that because we were talking about trophies and stuff, is you guys are not going to add tally markers, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, because that is a thing you can do now. But it's a plus minus kind of thing. You can basically do it for free and start keeping track, but it hurts some of your tests, but helps others. But alright, so tactical situation. Basically, for the past month, what you guys have been doing is, apart from staff work, all the paperwork that comes with running an army, is mostly you have been integrating your new units, so you have been running drills and light missions, mostly for you guys, air patrol and the basic stuff, a lot of it along the eastern border of the territory. So south of the border, you've kind of arrived at a deadlock situation. You don't have the troops and supply lines, especially in this temperature, to push further into Cape Land, despite the fact that that's what the High Command probably wants, is you to expand territory and, take more territory back. That's why we're down here. More resources, more territory.
More diamonds.
Yeah, whatever. All the stuff we need back at base, we want it down here. But obviously, like we said, especially compared to the previous major, the newly promoted Major Sonia von Schulteis is much more even-handed about her mission directives, especially since in private you have talked to her about your demon sighting incident, which she has asked you to play close to your vest. She has probably submitted private telegrams back to, the homeland for advice on the subject. Maybe talked to some of the local experts, because there's local academies and, not active military, but there are senior mages here who are, in desk jobs and stuff. So she might have mentioned that around, but mostly you're keeping it on the down low to avoid a panic, and it's there's a lot of interviews and, studying process, which you've talked about. There's hitting up libraries. So it's very subtly out there, but because of the presence, the Major is very cautious now. For the past month or so, the enemies have been fairly quiet. You've had some skirmishes. You've chased off some scouts. Maybe not you specifically, but people in your army have. And mostly they seem to be, kind of digging in for the height of summer we're in, and hopefully until, the seasons change. Because, by the way, even though it's December, it's the summer because they're in the southern hemisphere. That's how seasons work. You're hoping that at least because this is fairly early on in the war. What are they going to engage in the war over Prophet's Day? It's crazy. By the way, that's this month, so if anyone needs to have a kip, give out some gifts. You'll have to think about these things. Prophet's Day is our stand-in for Christmas, everybody. I decided not to go whole hog and make the official name Prophetmas. But yeah, so there's a major holiday coming up. General intelligence suggests from people on the ground that no, the Commonwealth is not interested in a Christmas offensive, basically. So you're hoping that the idea is that they'll keep themselves to themselves while you reorganize. That said, the Major is very concerned about your eastern flank, like I said. Most of that's desert. Really shitty ultra dry desert, but you've got a little bit of grassland and savanna in the corners there, and while you couldn't march infantry over that land, you could definitely fly planes or mages over that land. So hey, guess what you guys are doing? Air patrol corridors. Woo! So yeah, you've been doing a lot of boring gopher work as soldiers for the past month or so. Right up until today, we'll say it's a bright and early day, and you have been summoned after morning mess. Captain, as usual, Ulrich has to wait at home.
Yep.
But you have been summoned to the Major's office.
Cool.
So, boom, you arrive, you salute. Her office is very big now. Her desk is huge. She has 2 globes.
Damn it!
and a telescope for no discernible reason.
Now I gotta go steal me a fucking telescope.
So you're in the actually no, this is a mission briefing, so this would be in the staff room. But there's bloody great maps on the wall. You've got the big map table. You've got a telegraph set in here. You got a wireless.
Still for 2 globes and telescope.
Listen up. Everything's electrically lit because you're back in the capital. You're in real rooms now. Because you guys were in that forward operating base for a couple of weeks. Working out of tents and prefab buildings. So being back at base is nice. And so she is here. Obviously, her XO is here, and your officer corps is here. And depending on how prompt you want to be, you can say you arrive before your officers or not.
I would like to be prompt. I will be unkempt as fuck as usual, though.
Mm-hmm. You're thinking to yourself, God, I need to do some magic on my safety razor. It's getting a little dull.
Mm-hmm.
It's the irony of the cobbler's children have no shoes. The metal mage's razors are never sharp. So in that case, when you first arrive, the only person who is here before you is the Major, because obviously she called the meeting. And Lieutenant Wolf Falkenroth of your scout platoon, who you would know in advance was out on he was coordinating an operation earlier, doing some air patrols. So he looks like he's just come back. He's still in flight jacket and stuff.
I'm gonna get some coffee. I hope there's coffee in the staff room.
Of course there is. You're German.
I'm getting coffee.
There's coffee and there's a beer keg. It's probably a little early for one of those, though.
Yeah, but no. I will salute the Major. I will greet my office. I'm gonna give you some coffee.
All right. He gives you a relaxed salute. You know that he's kind of.
I know the cut of his jib.
Yeah. So everybody filters in, and so basically, everybody drinks coffee. Everybody's having a nice, normal. And then so the Major rolls out the maps. She's got her little extendy tactical pointer, and goes into the mission briefing. So, she mostly addresses you as you're the most senior officer in the room, but, talks to everyone and basically breaks this down. So, she kind of runs you through the explanation I've given everybody. As you know, for the time being, we have stopped our advance further into enemy territory to shore up our defenses. In the new year, the High Command is expecting us to renew our offensive to take more territory and build a larger buffer to keep the colonies safe. And they would like for us to actually, reconnect with some of our allies in East Alkebulan in East Africa, but that would obviously take a lot of time. So we're waiting on more manpower to start working towards that strategic goal. For the time being, I'm concerned about our borders. We're surrounded on 3 sides. Lusitania is supposedly neutral in Angola, but we know that they are a great economic ally of the Commonwealth, so we expect that at some point they may officially declare war. So we're watching our northern border, and we're watching the southern end where all the military activity has been. And, of course, the eastern border, which is mostly desert, but there are some areas out there. So recently, I have been speaking with our adjuncts in the regular infantry who have been operating scouting operations, securing any possible fortifications we need if we have to hold against a desert offensive. And they have been doing surveys in that area. She kind of pulls up a map section. So, about a week ago, there was an infantry scouting detachment, just some light infantrymen with some local guides, who failed to report a check-in here. So she points at, here's a major village. They had a well, much like the village we assaulted in our initial offensive. So they went to the scouting unit went to this village, and they sent an infantry detachment further up the road, and she kind of gestures with her pointer, to this village. By the way, out of character, I would like to say, the village has a real name, but I'm not going to try and invent a name because I don't know anything about African village names. So whatever I did would probably be either really boring or terribly ignorant and possibly offensive. So, village land. They probably have some kind of name installed for it, but I wouldn't even know. But she points at a second village. So about a week ago, this infantry detachment was supposed to scout this area and report back in, make sure it was secure, no signs of enemy advance or scouts or anything. Obviously, they have not reported in. The infantry unit also, through couriers, because obviously they're not carrying any wireless equipment, and they're not running telegraph lines in this heat, so they have to, communicate everything by courier. They also reported back the village was unusual. It was evacuated, this one. They noticed that even though it's dry here, obviously the fields and pastures were remarkably dried out and dead. And they also found some dead livestock. They are trying to track down people who may have evacuated out of the village. We know that's not uncommon for the locals in possible combat fronts to be evacuated out of the way by local officials or of their own volition, but we haven't been able to track down anyone who used to live in this village. They did say, though, that the well is secure and the water source is still good. Just, a little unusual, maybe a blight in the area. Which brings us to Lieutenant Falkenroth, who the other night, as part of his air patrol, I asked him to send a detachment to scout this site in a quick manner. And she kind of turns it over to him, and she says, all right, so... Ooh, did I disconnect? I did.
Hello?
Hi, everybody, I'm back.
Hey.
Discord did a weird.
It did a weird.
Was there anything of what I was saying you guys missed?
Oh, no, I've been hearing everything.
Okay, so it was just a quick reset. All right.
Yeah.
So, Lieutenant Falkenroth is giving his report. So basically, he turns to everybody and he addresses the room. And he's basically like, all right, so, as most of my unit continued our air patrol as normal, but we detached a squad of 6 guys with, field glasses and viewing equipment to scout the site from a distance. They approached the supposed location of the village, and he actually pulls out a sketchbook from, one of his pockets, lays it out, flips it over. They weren't carrying any cameras, and the lighting wasn't good for it anyway, but they did take some Recon Sketches. If you want to, Captain, you can pick up the sketchbook and study it.
I will.
And so basically you see what he's about to describe, which is, they reported to me that through glasses and scopes, the village site was almost unrecognizable. There was barely any outline of buildings. This area is far enough north and east that we're a little bit out of the desert. There's some savanna granite normally, but their grasses here were extraordinarily overgrown. It was a little unseasonable. There were, thick clusters of savanna trees that were not being trimmed back. From that range, nobody could spot any buildings other than maybe some wall outlines. And there was absolutely no sign of the presence of the infantry detachment. Since it was night and it was a highly dense region, I elected not to send them in for a closer look and report back. So he, kind of hands it back over to the major. And like I said, as you're flipping through the sketches, you see this. There's like, like rough outline sketch. Like, okay, so there should be a village here, but it's like overgrowth here. Stands of trees. Like, there's like a little observational sketch which is like, is this like a town or pasture wall? I don't know. So the major turns to you, Captain, and she says, "So, we are engaging in what we are calling Operation Hidden Eyes." Don't ask me; I don't make the names. Obviously, as mobility is key, I am placing this with the flying squadron, not the land goers, but your mission is to recon this site. You will have to figure out what your troop detachment and resources expended to this are. As you can see, the terrain here is supposed to be highly overgrown and highly covered. Visibility is extremely limited, but I am planning for a recon in force. If there are any enemy units hiding in there who ambushed our infantrymen, or if there's some kind of wild animal problem. She kind of like looks around. She's like, there are lions this far south, are there? And there's, some shrugs and stuff, and like the wild dogs or something. I don't know. Something unusual in this region. Keep an eye out. You should be safe. Obviously, since this region is so overgrown, there's going to be limited visibility. There will be no natural or man-made lighting on the target. And you are to investigate. Supposedly, if the infantry detachment was out there, they would be carrying supplies for an extended reconnaissance. So you may be able to find torches, food supplies, additional ammunition, and medical supplies if you need them out there, if you can find the lost unit. But that may have been captured or destroyed. The watchword of this operation, however, is timeliness. You will have only a day to prepare, and I need you to execute this on them rapidly so that the remaining infantry units can continue their patrols, or we might need to reorganize. We are very concerned about possible counteroffensives, gentlemen and ladies. So basically, you're going to have a night mission. You need to do a recon in force tonight, and be back by morning, basically. Because the game loves giving you time limits.
Mm-hmm.
This is a recon mission. You are to examine the site, determine what, if anything, happened to the infantry detachment, and if there's anything unusual here, and then basically investigate secondary sites. Like, if the infantry unit wandered off, if you can find their trail, go ahead and scope them out. If you see signs that the enemy was here, what direction did they go? But obviously, you need to get back in radio range and report back to us before the following dawn, because basically, if this is going to be the gist of it, not to make this last forever, is that if this is a thing, she needs to report this to like Colonial Command and High Command, and they need to organize a whole like defensive front right away. So they need to know as soon as possible if this is a thing, because otherwise all those resources you've got are being allocated to where you're probably going to be suffering a counteroffensive in less than a month or so. So this is like, are we opening up a new front in this war, or is this nothing? I need to know as soon as humanly possible.
All right.
This will be a night mission, not a late night though. Like probably after evening chow, you'll kip out.
Okay.
And they are reporting for once. No precipitation. No serious cloud cover, just a light wind. And actually, she will report to you that she was interested in this because this location is actually further up the ley line direction from, you remember your little eruption that you guys spent so much time on? This is not directly on, but it's in the neighborhood of that ley line direction, which is why she was concerned about scouting it in the first place.
Very well, then. So
you guys think about how you want to prep for this mission. You got most of the day to do your prep time. Like I said before, much like how the former captain, now major, used to operate, you get to decide what units you want to deploy where and how long. And I'm gonna go grab my water real quick.
All right. Well, let's see. We got 3 platoons. We have a support
Shoot, I have to
recovery
go
platoon.
grab my water separately, so I'll be a little bit.
Okay.
My water's gone.
Let's see here.
I'm just... I should make my shopping list shorter. because I'm copying and pasting like so much. Some of the stuff is from my companion, so he actually has something on him like a trench knife.
Yeah, those things are important.
And a pistol, since he doesn't have a sidearm.
Oof. Well, he's a pacifist, ain't it? So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still giving him that weapon just in case. He could shoot the leg. It's like, don't come at me, I'm gonna shoot your leg. That's what he'll probably do if he actually is forced to attack someone.
Okay, I'm back. I got a water. Okay. Sorry about that. I turned around to find my water. I'm like, it's empty. And I'm like, fuck.
Okay. Alright. Do you want to mobilize all 3 platoons?
I mean, so technically she said recon and force, but you get to decide how much force that is, obviously. I will say this. So, you're going to be going some distance, because obviously this is way out towards the border direction.
Mm-hmm.
You can choose to fly there, but that cuts into your time limit on your time on target, and obviously your mobility unit. But if you want to truck more guys out that direction before flying out there, that's obviously more resources. You, as a company, still have a couple of staff cars, so if just the player characters wanted to go, you guys could bundle up in a car and drive halfway there, park it with a friendly infantry unit on the ground or something, and fly out. Then, if you want to take platoons with you, that means your whole unit has to be flying several hours, or you're gonna have to you're gonna have to find somebody to borrow some trucks off of and pile them out there.
Well, yeah, well, I don't want to bring 75 guys with me just to go find how many guys total went missing?
Probably not a full platoon. Let's say about a dozen guys. It was a detachment from a larger recon element. So a couple squads worth of guys.
Okay.
I would like us to take the A team, as it were, but honestly, no. Actually, no. If it is, if we run into combat and it's this is a lot of fucking people, then we just zoop out of the fucking way. We don't have to take on a whole fucking army by ourselves.
No, this is a recon mission. Your primary objective is intel.
Yeah. So,
just the conditions you need to be concerned about is this is a covered terrain, so it's heavy ground cover and air cover, so it's going to be dense. You're not going to be able to necessarily see anything from the sky, so somebody's going to probably have to fly down low and get into it. It's overgrown, so the terrain is physically difficult to cover.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was a town or something here, it has been completely taken over by wildlife, which is weird. That said, if you look for it, and these infantry guys were actually here, some of their supplies might be here. The other thing I think to notice about is that this is a night mission, and the target will be completely dark because there's no man-made light there, and natural light will be, moonlight and starlight.
Yeah. And also, I don't want to fucking take too many people away because
just in case there's
my platoons are still have to do Yeah, my platoons are still going to be have to running their fucking routes, their patrols. I don't want to fucking make them stay up all fucking night and then go back in the morning and keep running patrols. That's a no-go. So yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll take... Yeah, we'll just take, it'll just be me, the XO, my senior ECO, and the medic.
Alright, and you're just gonna, borrow a staff car?
Yeah.
Do you, you want to put anybody in the neighborhood as, a reinforcement element?
Yeah, let's,
because remember, there's like I said, there's a friendly infantry, larger body, probably a couple platoons or a whole company's worth of guys, stationed out in a nearby village. Probably a couple hours drive away, more hours in a hike.
Yeah. Let's get a little bit of backup.
Okay. What you thinking? You just gonna, grab a squad from everybody? What?
Yeah. Let's just take a squad from everybody.
Right. So you'll just
Let's,
have a little detachment of, a little under 20 guys from the different units working together.
Yeah.
And they'll...
So we have a bit of the scouts, a bit of the recovery, and a bit of the air rifles. Excuse me. We'll load up.
All right. Any special equipment you want to bring?
Machete.
A sword. I got a super sharp sword.
I probably just need to mark down everything.
Yes, obviously you want to...
Let's see. We're gonna have a night mission. We're gonna have to find people. I'm gonna cast.
Probably,
I'm gonna cast.
oh yeah, I did it by searchlight.
Oh, that is actually super useful, my dude.
Yeah, right.
That's yeah. We're only getting that's it. See, make sure everyone
Just
has...
in case, and then also probably have someone's. If we go there halfway on car, then the other halfway is probably on foot, so have someone scout ahead. Then have people actually with searchlight behind, but not...
your recovery troops are they're basically... one of their things is search and rescue, so they've got search lamps.
Okay.
Yeah. I said, we'll make them a mixed company kind of deal, so everyone pins up. Let's see here. Let me go through. I'm gonna do that thing I do where I just go through the entire damn equipment guide and just see if anything pops out.
You still stole an oil lamp, so...
Yeah, no, my oil lamp is now part of my fucking equipment. That thing is on my rig because it's light, but I am probably gonna fucking cast night vision on something. I don't know, my helmet? Will that work? No, it's technically part of my armor, I guess. Yeah. Heck.
I guess I'll have night vision cast to the spell at least.
Yeah, I'll just have to keep casting the spell. Should be alright.
That's the nature of the beast.
Well, actually, you know what? No, I'll just probably use my own lamp until I feel like there's a fucking reason for me to actually not use light.
Yeah, that's probably good, yeah. And I also have a lamp.
Lamps are good, so yeah, we'll just bring our lamps. We have our searchlights. Anything that is actually good for search and rescue. Let's see here. I am still in weapons, because Jesus fucking Christ, there's a lot.
Not that it helps for these guys, but you guys have rescue hooks, naturally. Yeah. You're probably not going to rescue hook out a regular infantryman, but
nope.
You've got the gear.
Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Ammo bags, anti-venom, army kettles, battery packs, belt pouches. No.
You've got the corpsman with you, so if anybody needs emergency medical treatment, he's got a kit for that.
He has a trauma kit too.
At some point, we should get a fucking camera.
Oh yeah. Quick question.
If you wanted to, go ahead and ask Marth.
What would the actual weight be for masterwork boots?
What's do boots have a weight?
It with Ulrich, because I think they're in common items.
Yeah, there's common items for boots. Does masterwork do anything for weight normally?
For armor, it has it.
That probably counts for this. So find boots in my big list of items that don't have rules, and have whatever that weight is.
I'm Gert. Well, I had to copy that all down and put that into my own gear spreadsheet.
You like spreadsheets. Lucky, to answer your question, you do know that because you have a recon element with you now, those guys actually have cameras. They do aerial recon photos.
Oh, booyah!
So if you need to grab a guy with a camera, or just grab a camera, you have a whole unit that does that. Otherwise noted, this is a night mission. Even with flash bulbs, you're not going to get a lot.
All right, never mind. Let's see here. A geophone, maybe? Sense of vibrations?
Common items. Boots. It's not listed on... Boots is not listed on common items.
They're called something else.
Maybe they are.
Matic, mess kit, metal detector. Man, that thing's fucking heavy.
It is. No, that was a mission item. You probably returned it.
Yeah. Let's see. Phrasebook, quiver, radio pack. We got a radio pack. Rope. We have
you have a radio man.
Flying units. I don't need a fucking rope. We got a search lamp, sextants, smelling salts, smoke grenades!
Okay, I actually found it, it's actually is named Boots. And why is it NA?
Oh, well, because you're probably wearing them, and usually you don't, like, really count, like, your normal clothes.
I guess
Usually.
because boots don't really weigh very much.
Oh, yeah, that's probably because this is all in kilos. So, yeah, no. Almost every clothing item is NA, so... No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Let's, I kind of want to grab a fucking metal detector and a geophone.
Huh.
All right.
What do you think?
Oh, right, because that whole plus 20 to the ground thing.
Yeah.
No, it doubles your radius for what your range is for perception if something is touching the ground. And you can listen through walls and stuff, because that's another thing it's good for, because it's basically a giant stethoscope.
Yeah,
that gives you a plus 20
about
bonus.
that too.
Marth, you wanna carry the metal detector and geophone, and you can be our fucking check things? No, I'm gonna fucking roll command, because I'll be like, hey, give me a fucking geophone and a goddamn metal detector for this mission.
So, I mean, if you're trying to make it a mission equipment, you only get one extraneous logistics roll if you wanted to chance that. Otherwise, it's a procurement roll.
Okay. I don't get any special bonuses for that, so... Blow!
Your int and your charisma are very good.
Yeah, they are. No, I fail. I got a 54.
Okay. Was that on just procurement? You're just trying to get the quartermaster to be like, I need a metal detector.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what do you want from me? We don't have any fucking metal detectors. We had like 2 in the whole country. And they're in the back somewhere. I don't know.
Damn it.
Or you fail.
I'm looking at your report. There's no mines listed here. You don't need a mine detector. They're heavy and expensive.
Or you fail and they give you like a bottle, casket, box of booze.
No, this wasn't. As funny as that is, this wasn't technically a logistics role. So there's not a logistics fuck up. There's just you go to the office and they're just like, you can't cut the red tape. They're like, you don't need a fucking mine detector. And you're like, shit, I don't need one, but I really want one. And that's like, this is not how the military works. We're sorry.
Damn it! I shake fists. Yeah. Well, whatever. Let's see here. Yeah, we really don't have anything. There's really no, like, quote-unquote equipment for finding people. It's gonna have to be good old, make work.
Welcome to 1914. Lamps, light sources are about it, and listening.
Mm-hmm. Alright, but no, let's get a fucking, staff truck, I guess.
Yep, you pull a staff, you have staff cars, you pull them out of the motor pool, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are all trained in pilot, so you all know how to drive now.
Yeah. Load up your fucking mobile units and all that crazy stuff. Make sure you get some meals.
Yes.
Take a nap.
Well, you get your standard loadout, so when you go down to the quartermaster and are like your work bay and are just like pulling shit out of inventory, you put on your uniforms, you slap on your armor, you get all your guns. Everybody gets their X1 survival ration.
Mm-hmm. Top off your canteens.
Yeah. And so you go for a lovely drive after evening mess. The roads are not in great condition here. That's an actual rule of the campaign. That's the thing. So go ahead and give me a pilot roll for how good you do on terrain.
Should I drive? I can drive.
I think you're the best at it because you just got that plus 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. What is your... Right, it's agility.
Yep.
Actually, let me double check my bonuses here.
What's your agility?
Let me check. Staff car.
But I'm thinking you probably above me because I think mine is like 42.
Well, my agility is only like 30, but I have a plus 25 to pilot my mobility unit, not just for a general thing.
Okay.
I got to double check to see because the mobility unit expert is for my mobility unit. Yeah, so I just got a plus 10 to drive anything.
And the staff car has a handling of plus 0.
But my XO actually has the piloting thing that gives her a plus thing. But that only gives her a total of 40 because she gets...
And I have 42.
I just say we have my exo drive, just because I think it's entertaining.
Yeah, have the XO drive and have her complain all the way.
Alright, roll them.
I'm gonna roll them. Ah, no! 34, 0 degrees of success.
Alright, the roads are rough, it's a little bumpy ride. Obviously, the staff car is not an all-terrain vehicle. You know, it's not like a scout car. But, for dirt and gravel roads, it's a pretty even drive, you know, and you managed to get there without losing any extra time. You're probably not going full speed. What's the off? Is there an off-road rule? I think there is. I think it's like half your top speed for off-road. Yeah.
I mean, because off-road is probably like difficult terrain for
Yeah, basically.
vehicles.
So, yeah. So you don't have a super high speed. Obviously, it's much slower than flying. But how far do you want to drive out? Is this just Do you want to say you drive as far as the friendly infantry unit, or what?
Yep, friendly infantry unit.
All right. So you arrive on station, you park, you get lots of salutes because these are like, you know, there might be a lieutenant around here somewhere. So obviously, you know, you're a captain covered in medals.
Booyah! Excel.
So you're in there. They report in. Everybody, give me awareness. With a minus 10 for low light, because it's starting to get dark. You're doing this at like...
Okay. Well,
it's summer, it's summer, so it stays lighter later, so this is, you know... But still, it's...
I use my officer...
dark.
I throw my officer talent. Heads up.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone get plus 10.
I have sensory boost on my gas mask.
You're wearing that gas mask?
Yes.
Forever now?
I mean, that's why he changed it.
I have, okay, so I have awareness plus 10, so that's 46, 66, 76 for awareness test.
I think you should probably upgrade my perception. It's only 32.
I
know.
I see things, I see them with my eyes.
That is the wrong dice. I still failed with 2 degrees of failure.
You are in Africa.
Damn, it's hot!
Well, I mean, it's about to get real cold. Sun's setting. Okay, hey, so 60 OS. Before you get into the town proper, you're driving along and you're thinking about that stuff they said. And you spot on the side of the road Mr. Spotty McScoutman. Ooh, yeah.
And that's sensory boost.
Yeah.
I can tell things between.
Actually, that's really good. That's on point for this. So, as you're driving, you're wearing your gas mask, you're a total creep, but you see things now.
This is why I'm not sociable anymore.
No,
you are
if you're gonna enchant eyewear, it was like maybe your goggles, but I would have gone with like a welding mask or a gas mask anyway. So
yeah,
whatever.
it was like okay.
You are nice. You are from
I should get like a minus 10 for wearing gas mask all the time for casual situations.
Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah, circumstance.
Yeah, I'm not taking you to any parties with that mask on, by the way.
But you're driving along and you spot on the side of the road a couple of animal carcasses. They look like, I think goats are the common in this region, so probably like goats. They're dead on the side of the road.
Okay.
In like the little ditchment area so that they don't flood. Because remember, this place has weird weather patterns.
Okay, so I'm just putting animal carcasses, goats, and exclamation mark.
If you were to call for a stop, you could get out and look closer, and you might learn some things. You can...
Yeah, I'll just... Do we want to?
Right,
I'll just inform the others, like, oh, there's goat carcasses over on the side of the road.
What?
You can see them now. He's
stop.
pointing them out.
Stop.
Gravel goes everywhere.
Let's start. We probably should try to learn something more about these things.
We see how they died. Might give us some clues.
All right. So with your sensory boost, the moment you get close, Ulrich, even through the gas mask filters, you can smell a little bit in the blood in the air, and you could pick up there's a something like You don't know. Like you think your gas mask filters are kind of blocking that up, but there's definitely some kind of undertone that's not just rot, but like something sickly and almost chemical-y. If
Okay.
basically you guys are gonna need to make tough. Maybe not Marth because he got a gas mask, but if Captain, you want to get close, or your companions want to get close, they're gonna have to make toughness tests to not puke because they're.
I do. That's why I bought a gas mask for my companion.
Okay.
Well, I haven't put on my gas mask yet, so I'm gonna get fucking close. And I'm gonna make a toughness test.
Can I inform the guys before they get close?
Oh yeah, you can say there's something weird going on here, but this is just roll toughness because they're rotting.
Okay.
Yeah, like these have been on the roadside in a desert in summer for a couple of days at least. Not long enough to like decompose, but.
And I don't have to do that because of the gas mask.
No, you're protected. Noxious chemicals are filtered out.
I got 33 out of 33, so 0 degrees of success.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell them.
I'm fine.
I'm just going to tell them right now. There's something sickly chemically about them.
You cover your face with your handkerchief that you definitely own.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, that's what I could smell from their blood.
Magic. Okay, so you get who's trained in survival? I know Ulrich is. Are you also trained in survival, Mister?
I am not trained in survival.
Okay.
My companion is trained in survival.
So Ulrich, what you realize without needing to roll is even in a desert location in summer, scavengers should have picked these clean by now. Like vultures are a thing down here. You don't even really see any insects on these. They're just kind of like naturally decomposing from the heat and weathering. Captain, obviously you don't think anything of it because you don't know animals.
No.
You're just looking closer. And you notice they have what looks like stab marks in the chest. The chestital region, in the chest cavity somewhere.
Okay. I'm just hearing like...
Are you gonna... How closely are you gonna examine these, Captain?
I'm going to...
Well, as I said, I don't understand... I don't know exactly, like... Marth, are you gonna relay any information to me here?
I'm going to relay that information. It's like...
Alrighty.
It's like... Yeah, these should have been picked clean by now. And there's some sort of mark in the chest area.
Let's everyone got some gloves? I got some gloves.
So if you wanna do CSI, that's probably a medication test.
Well, I guess my
is medication basic?
I think my companion is probably wears gloves because that.
Yeah, no.
Doctor. Is medication a basic skill? Can you even? I think it. Let's see. We're going to mechanical. Medication is I think a basic skill because I don't see this. No, it's advanced.
By it. It's advanced.
Yeah, it is advanced.
Okay.
So I will allow you to sub in an academics test with a minus. Let's call it minus 20 penalty.
I'll have my.
Your companion obviously can roll medication if the captain's gonna order the corpsmen to CSI these goat bodies.
It's like, I'm not an animal doctor.
I still kind of want to order you to fucking CSI these goat bodies.
You're the captain.
Do you
roll
want
medication for him?
Do you want to order the corpsman to CSI these bodies?
Yes.
Okay.
Damn it, Captain! I'm a medic, not a veterinarian.
Okay, so that is.
Oh, very well.
Okay, so he's not an expert, and there's a fairly decent amount of decomp here. But it looks like these things have been, if he had to guess, he's looking at them. He notes there's a lot of necrosis around the wounds, and there's some weird clotting and stuff. What this injury looks most like to him is snakebite.
Venom.
Yeah,
but
it's like
at the same time, this would have to be like some kind of jungle snake or something. Like, there are some pretty nasty, but this is like, like a king cobra or bigger, like a sea serpent or, a constrictor,
okay.
But constrictors don't have venomous bites, so he's like, I mean, some of it's like, okay, it's decomposed, I can't be certain, because obviously he didn't roll a lot of degrees of success, but he's like, this looks like snake bite, but it's a really big fucking snake.
Can I make that academics test?
yeah.
Do I know of any like giant fucking snake creatures?
Okay, you can roll academics for monsterology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll academics for monsterology here. And
I think my Gorman will assist. So get a +10.
You can do that.
8. I got +10. That's 53. 4 degrees of success.
Okay. Well, actually, there's, as you know, poison is obviously governed by the poison element, which is seen as the tool of the enemy. So that's an obvious thing.
Mhm.
There are quite a few things that are toxic. That said, thinking about it, so, what most common is there's maybe a couple of things. Like you said, there are sea serpents, there are extra large snakes that live in the water, which are engorged on mana and have poisonous bites. But you're in the middle of a desert, so it's not that.
Yeah, no.
So in that case, there are a couple of things that come to mind, none of them good. Most of them are in the chimerical nature.
Oh, great.
So, this is too small to be a wyvern bite, so that's good. A wyvern nest would be just what you need right now.
We're going in tall fucking grass.
Tall.
So, the traditional chimera of folklore, which is, 3 heads, one is a lion, one is a goat, one is a snake. That could explain it. The only other thing is that that there is a beastman type, the Lamia class, who are humanoid snakes. But they don't really like dry climates. They don't like deserts because, it's not their bodily nature. Actually, the Naga people, that's right. I used that name. They're cold-blooded, basically, so they're not averse to heat, but they prefer a little bit of water, and they wouldn't like the cold desert nights. So, also, you're pretty sure somebody would notice a whole Naga colony. They're not necessarily solitary creatures, like say some beastmen are. So, but they do have poisonous bites and venomous spittle.
Do we have giant scorpions?
Yeah, but so I guess, you rolled so well, you can think about that. Yes, they're technically categorized as arachne, but there is where's my word for that? I'm scrolling. So much scrolling. I got a lot of notes for enemies, okay? The Gitabilu, which is basically a scorpion centaur person. Upper body of a humanoid, lower body of an entire scorpion. They have poison stingers. Those tend to be real big, though. The medic kind of, eyeballing it because he's assisting you on this test. He's like, yeah, I think, no, there's 2 separate wounds, like a giant scorpion stinger, because also the other thing to consider is dire animals. So, a dire snake or a dire scorpion, would be extra large. Like, if a scorpion was gorged on poison mana, it would be, the size of, like, a small dog.
Oh, okay.
That's probably a little too small for this, and it would be, he's like, no, there's, like, look at the wounds. There's a point up here, there's a point up here, and they're kind of, like, rotted together, but they're still separate, so it's probably not a scorpion princess. Probably. Maybe there's just a giant cobra out here or something. You do know there's earth mana in the area, and that tends to make creatures larger than normal.
Oh, man. Well, if we're dealing with something with poisons, we're going to make sure that we have... how much antivenom do we have on hand?
Everybody empty their pockets.
I'm going to have to make a request in the command that we start getting antivenom on the reg. Let's see if the forward... the guys we're going to go meet, the friendlies, have any.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We weren't even...
Hey, spoilers. They don't.
Damn it!
Antivenom's really expensive and rare.
Yes.
I would say
is.
though, what magic talents does the Corpsman have?
Cure.
Yeah. He can fix you with magic.
Okay, cool.
Any sickness, poison, or fatigue.
Yeah.
Well,
So pretty much it's a jolt of caffeine via touch.
Nice.
Plus several other medical things.
Well, that's cool. But real quick, let's burn these goats. A couple of decomposing animals filled up with venom. I don't like the idea of just leaving them about.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think. Do you guys have? Actually, that's a good question. Do you have any fire starters? Anybody carrying matches?
Yeah, I got I got a lighter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
I got a lighter too.
Just.
All right. Right. Of course. It's the 19 teens. You smoke.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You find some ultra dry underbrush because yes, as they noted, you think these guys were maybe because goats are obviously a very hardy animal. You think these guys were straggling on in a very dried out pasture and something just bit them obviously. But yeah, no, the what grass is left here is like super dry. The agriculture's not good. You're wondering, is something happened with the groundwater, or is there like an unusual drought in the area? I don't know. It's weird. Everything's weird here. You're in a weird place.
Weird things are happening. Why? So yeah, let's cleanse the area because leaving around poison animals is not good feng shui.
Yeah.
Very bad karma.
No.
You
you guys, especially if you suspect that this is like a dire animal or a chimerical bite, no. MO is burn it.
Yeah.
Fire is the great purifier.
Burn it, purify it, and let's get back in and continue on.
You probably, does the Corpsman have create water? I think you got that.
Do I create water?
If he doesn't, otherwise you probably want to empty out some of your canteens because you can refill at the well and like use some of your soap, ritual cleansing. And
well, I know he's a water mage, but I don't think.
All right, you haven't bought any additional talents to give him extra. Okay, so yeah, so probably you guys like take a little bit of water out of your canteens and like pour it over your hands and stuff, soap up.
Mm-hmm. Rub it with salt.
Yep.
Good.
And I know we didn't do a lot, but we're coming up on 2 hours on the recording.
I think how you guys feel. I'm good. I can keep going.
I can still keep going, but it's like 9:35 for Omega.
I've been a little tired all day. I could probably push more, but I think this is you want less, not more. I think this is a good stopping point as you kind of like arrive at the forward village. You've seen something spooky. This is going to be a good point to call it, and then next time you can do real mission work.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so it's probably going to be a little amount for XP.
Yeah. Let's go for a nice, I don't know, 2 hundo.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm going to save that. Actually, I can actually get strength. I just realized
I got all my dice out. I literally didn't roll any dice this whole session. Good job, me.
Okay, I'm gaining strength of the earth now.
Booyah. Let's see here, just 2.
So, next time when I have downtime, I can enchant the boost with strength of earth.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, since I didn't work through all my material, if you guys want to, like I said, I got a pretty free schedule this week. If you guys want to game a little sooner than we usually do just to keep this going, we can do that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call the recording right here. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Duple do if you're watching on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And we'll be back soon.